Some rivalries define an era, some define a business, but there's one match that defined an absence. A fight so big it became legendary for never fully happening on wrestling's biggest stage. This is Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. By the time WrestleMania 24 rolled around, both men were living legends. Hogan, the man who turned wrestling into pop culture, and Flair, the nature boy, a 16-time world champion and arguably the greatest in-ring performer the business ever produced. They'd crossed paths for 2 decades, house shows in '91, WCW pay-per-views throughout the '90s, but the one match everyone wanted, Hogan versus Flair on the grandest stage of them all, kept slipping through their fingers. Back in 1992, WWE actually planned it. Hogan vs. Flair was pitched as the WrestleMania 8 main event, advertised and promoted, and then quietly, it was scrapped. Flair faced Randy Savage instead. Hogan faced Sid Justice, and the dream match got shelved while fans never forgot it. Fast forward to 2008, and Flair is 59 years old, wrestling under a brutal WWE stipulation where losing means it's over, career on the line with no exceptions, and his opponent that night wasn't Hogan. It was Shawn Michaels, a student facing his mentor in what became one of the most emotional matches in WrestleMania history. But Hogan's shadow loomed over the entire storyline, because this was the era Flair himself often pointed to, in interviews around this time, as proof that his one true piece of unfinished business was never with Michaels, or Savage, or anyone else. It was Hogan, the match that got away. They did eventually clash. Bash at the Beach in '94, Uncensored in 2000, one final TV bout in 2002, and Hogan holds the head-to-head edge by a wide margin, but none of it carried the mythology of what almost was. 2 icons, one WrestleMania, never realized. Hulk Hogan passed away in July of 2025, and Ric Flair had spent decades reflecting on the guy who should have been the one, and maybe that's the real story here. Not the match that happened, but the one that never did. Because sometimes the legend of what could have been outlives every match that actually took place. If you want the full breakdown of every real Hogan-Flair encounter, ranked from worst to best, hit subscribe, because this rivalry still isn't finished being told.